Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And this is a short video, and I'm trying to expose and violation and corruption that actually exist, and specifically in the Somali state of Ethiopia and tribunal court. And as we all know, there is a two judicial and line and where people are able to put their case on, and there is the Sharia of Islam and the Islamic court, and there is the as well the constitutional court. And I got proof here that I'm going to expose it, and which is my personal experience and regarding corruption in the Somali state of Ethiopia. During this time of elections, it is an important time to expose in order to this problem be rectified in the future. And a new president and a new hopeful president in the Somali state who is trying to make his case in this election should pay attention to this, and hopefully the federal government should have a look as well and maybe put uh, the effort in addressing or redressing these issues. And I got a lot of files in here. I'm gonna go to Jigjiga anyway, and in this time I'm recording this video on the 11th of February 2020, and here is the proof that I have. And we'll start. So, and for any non-Ethiopian or any young people who is not aware of it, and in here, what the date that we have is the Ethiopian date. There is about like 8 years or more behind the actual dates. And so in here, and I will translate it, and not translate it, but just tell you briefly what does this means, and as well any Somali person will disprove it or will agree to what I'm saying. And this is an a case that my father has put into the Somali State Court of Jigjiga, especially, and as mentioned above, in the Weranda of Lafaisa, which is no Weranda of Aubarre, although Lafaisa should have been a Weranda, but that is a political case. I will go into this will be for another time. But anyway, it's part of the Weranda of Aubarre in the city of Lafaisa. And my father has put a case that his land, his farm, has been illegally sold by his younger brother, and while my father was away in Djibouti. That's the case that he put in 2007. That is that is 2015 in Gregorian time, May 2015. And in the second page, and he put his case to Maxkamadda Sare ee Shareecada Gobolka Faafan. So he put it on the Islamic court of the district of Faafan. He put a case at that time saying my land or my farm has been sold illegally. Could you please make a judgment? That was in 2015, and here my father signed, and with his witnesses as well. And what in this page says as well is here is the plaintiff. This is my father who's put in the case, and this is the defender, Hamid Muhammad Ali, my uncle, my father's brother, who's sold the farm. And here is the person who my uncle has sold to, Ahmed Hassan Omar Ahmed Dere, who reside in Lafaisa. And my uncle says, basically, and I have sold illegally. That's what he says in here. Plain clear in Somali, he says, saying as well the article he's putting I've sold, and the reason I sold, my son has been imprisoned in Libya, and for that reason, and during the distress moment, I've missold. I've sold my land, which is entitled to. So my uncle sold his land, but as well he sold all the other lands, including my father's, and to that person's, in order to get the money. And he says, I, my uncle says, yeah, I, and basically plea guilty, and I would like to return the money back to the person that I sold to, and could you please and make a decision. So my father and my uncle has agreed, and it's a straightforward case for the court. It should have been, and here is the coordinator as well. He says in here the coordinator of the land. So straightforward case. So what happened in the in the court, which is the Islamic court of Fafan and Jigjiga district Fafan, what it says, and he put the case in format, says the land belongs to these 8 people, and we are all calling to attend the court, and we'll make this decision, basically separating the lands, and hopefully, and my uncle land might be entitled to sold his part, or maybe return the money back to the solder and to the beneficiary, which is the guy Ahmed Dero, who the land has been sold to, and then as well give the other 7 parts back to the rightful owner. So the court has called everyone to come, and they will make a decisions. So that it says that was in 2015, around May, April, and again in September 2015, the tribunal called and both my uncle and my father and to come to the court, and they will make a decision at 10 o'clock at this date. And it says in here, if you cannot attend, or if you don't attend the court will make a judgment without you being there. So we'll warn you to come to the court. That's what he says plainly in here. So my father attended, the court did not make a decisions, and all of these we and basically alleging that is corrupted, and the guy who the land has been sold to have corrupted the court itself. And here the stamp, and as well again, and he is calling, and in September 2015 at 9:30, my father as the plaintiff, as the person who is putting the case, and and these and and these demand by the court for Ahmed Hassan Omar to attend the court, whether he like it or not, and it's a demand saying that at 9:30 at this date we will make a decision. If you please come to the court. Whatever happened again, September 2015, and the court, this gentleman Ahmed Hassan did not appear in the court, and again my father returned empty-handed, and no decision has been made. Although the court has says that they're going to make a decision, it's never made a decision. And here, another proof. February 2019. So in here it says 9 o'clock Ethiopian time. This is February 2019. And here, Ethiopia time, 9:30 2008. There is 4 years later, 4.5 years later, the court has not made a decision. The court did not basically make a decision in this matter for the sole reason that is corrupted. Is Ahmed Hassan's is always putting his efforts to silence the court. If it's not the case, the court should have made a decision a long time ago. But 2019, my father has again put the court and says, this is what happened. You've called so many times and the other persons. I'm appearing time and time again in the court. You're not making a decision. You sending empty threats. You saying that you're going to make decisions. You never make a decision. And again, the court has called this person to appeal. And if they don't appeal it, they will make a judgment again. How many times? 5 years. They're saying they will make a judgment, and they will never make a judgment. So my father has lost all confidence in Islamic court of Jibjiga. So he took took his case to the constitutional court, which is maybe better structured, but that is where he took his case to, which is untitled to us in the legislation. But then again, in November 2019, whatever happened, these gentlemen, yeah, these gentlemen, no, yeah, this is it's just another. This one is another. It's another time as well that the court is calling again the same persons and says we'll make our decisions. How many times? Never happens. Go all this proof. And what happened in November 2015 when my father went to the court, I'll bring it forward, is, and I hopefully, yeah. So here, 2019, and again in La Faisa, this gentleman who is apparently and the judge, Muhammad Mahmoud. So my father called the whole town or the city as a witness against one person, which is Ahmed Hassan. Whatever happened again, 2019, in the Constitutional Court of Ethiopia, with this gentleman, Muhammad Mahmoud, who is the judge. My father, bringing all the witnesses against one person, has again postponed the judgment and saying in here, he says, the judge say, I agree what Ahmed Hassan is saying, and the reason I'm postponing the judgment is there is another case that is open in the Sharia court, which my father has lost all confidence after 5 years. The Constitutional Court is saying that there is a case outstanding and a judgment has been made, and if you could please take an appeal of that judgment. Judgment has not been made. So is this judge is not only misleading but as well clearly lied about the status of the Sharia Islam. The Constitution Court is independent of the Sharia Islam. They should have taken as well, if people have lost all confidence in the Sharia Islam, and to make an independent decisions when the whole town or the whole city is a witness, and this person hasn't got any witness. When my uncle is owning the wrongdoing, straightforward judgment. But whatever happened, it looks like this gentleman is always affecting judgment of whether it is the Constitutional Court or it is the Sharia Islam. So what I've done it, with all these proof, I tried to contact the relevant people in Ethiopia. So I've contacted the president of the Somali state of Ethiopia, Mustafa Omar. I've forwarded all the proof, what is happening, and all the audio tapes that I've made calls to tribunals asking what is happening. He never read it. But the president has got another Facebook page, and again, I've sent all my proof. And in this case, he has read, as you can see here. The president has read, did not make any attempt of redressing this injustice, knowing that himself has suffered and on the previous Abdi governments, and I thought he will take a decision, but he never took any attempts of redressing these issues. And I believe he's trying to stand for in the next election. Well, it's a just this is a proof of character that you show. And I've lost confidence in the president, and I've sent it as well to the vice president. He never read it, so I've lost all of them confidence in them as well. I've contacted some social media campaigners, like this gentleman and this gentleman, and they are really famous in Somali state of Ethiopia. They got about 15,000 followers, and this gentleman got about 7,000 followers, or maybe 8,000. This gentleman never read it, my plea, but at least Samatar has read it, and I've sent it all the proof of what is happening. I've told him not to publish it, and hopefully he will publish it this time, because I made it public now. The problem or the misjudge or the miscarriage of justice is now public, so hopefully he will make it public, this video as well, and for all people to see. What I've done as well, I've contacted I went to the embassy of Ethiopia, and it's, this is at the back of me going to the Ethiopian embassy, and I've sent it a letter to the ambassador, and they have received it as proven in here in October 2019, and basically ask him for support. I'm going to Jijiga. Could you please support me as a diaspora? I got all this proof, and it looks like the embassy of Ethiopia is only open to maybe for the Amhara or some, I don't know, or the Ethiopians, but I don't believe is open to the Somali and of Ethiopia origin, is Somali Ethiopian, neither for the Amfar or the Benishugul. I don't know, but I personally believe it's not a place for the Somalis. It's not open for the Somalis, although it says they are open for the Somalis. Anyway, I met with Yalu and Khadar. Khadar is a Somali ethnic. Yalu is for the Ethiopian ethnic, presumably Amhara or Tigray. I don't know, maybe Oroma. I don't think it is Oroma. Oroma maybe will have a better judgment. I don't know, regarding to Somalis anyway. So I said it. Khadar tried to help me. He's tried to start writing a support letter, but Yalu and his colleagues basically obstructed Khadar to make any support to myself. The only reason saying the Somali state of Ethiopia is we cannot trust anything that comes from that area, as if they make the judgment. And Khadar, who is a diaspora officer in the same status of Yalu, cannot make a judgment. So they says, Khadar, you cannot make a judgment. We, say Ethiopian, we obstructing you to write any letters. So I've took an appeal of that, sent it to the ambassador, received it, but he never replied. Just showing you that Ethiopian embassy is not even open for the Somalis. Anyway, that's a case for the diaspora to check it. So now I'm back to square one. I got all this proof. I'm going to Ethiopia. I'm going to try to meet first of all the Ministry of Diaspora in Jigjiga. I will try to speak to the president if I can, and to any other officers, showing with all this proof I got cases, and I will let you know the outcome of what happened. So this is a short expose of the level of corruptions that exist in the Somali state of Ethiopia, and hopefully in this time of election something will be done. So now my case is straightforward, my father's case is straightforward, and we are not only requesting and judgment to be made against the land, easy judgment, and as well a loss of earning of the last 5 years. And so the crimes against the government regarding the uh, court not making decisions, court being bribed, and judge and being bribed, that is a matter that is for the Somali state. It's not a matter for me. My matter of for me is first my father get his lands as untitled, and as well to compensations of his illegal imprisonment and the 5 years that the land has been occupied, and all the incomes that has been generated from the farm for the last 5 years. That's what's going to happen. So I'll leave you to that and see you in the next episode, and I will let you know what I've faced in Jigjiga. Goodbye.